Because
Yeah.
one may say, Jackie, that sounds awesome in theory. I'm in the middle of a shit show right now. Don't talk to me about flow consciousness. What would you say to that?
So really, we talked about this as first principles and being able to apply these universally to any challenge in your life, because beyond this pandemic, there's going to be other things. We're always going to be, and there's some people who aren't really affected by this at all, but they're being challenged by something else in life that has nothing to do. It's not necessarily pandemic related. We're always going to have challenges and things that are showing up in our lives to help us to grow and evolve. So it's really having the tools, the mindsets, the frameworks to support you in doing the inner work. Like I said, 60% of flow consciousness is reprogramming the mind and working at the mental, emotional, energetic, and physical levels to actually uproot and reprogram in beliefs, emotional patterns, working through the traumas to optimize your flow. And then really taking on radical acceptance is one of our principles, really not resisting what's showing up. And then from that place, being able to surrender to it and work through what's happening, honoring your intuition and allowing that to guide you to make the best possible decisions at this time. We have 7 flow principles. So each one is going in application will help people to navigate these uncharted waters. If your bank account is dwindling rapidly,
Hmm.
it's going into, what does that bring up for you?
Hmm.
So asking a series of mindful questions. What must I believe in order to be having this emotional response to this situation? Because, okay,
Hmm.
your bank account is dwindling, but to one person that might be like, okay, well, time for me to get into action and to start creating. And another person might be like, oh, fuck, now I'm going to be living on the streets and end up homeless and not be able to feed my kids. So the
Hmm.
situation is the same, but it's how we're interpreting it. We live in a subjective reality. So the best thing to do is start to ask yourself these mindful questions about, what's coming up for you in that experience, right? So your bank account is dwindling. What's beneath that? What fears are coming up? What thoughts are you having? What are, these anticipated outcomes that are creating stress? And working through those so that you can shift into opportunity. Because if you're creating all of these negative imagined scenarios, right? Coming back to the present moment, like noticing what's happening in this moment. I still have a roof over my head. I still have food in the fridge. Like, I'm okay. But I'm projecting this imagined reality that, okay, just because I'm losing money in this moment, now I've made up this whole narrative that I'm going to end up poor and I'm a loser and I'm unworthy and whatever those stories are, and doing the work around that. And then shifting into infinite possibilities reality and starting to see, like, what are the outcomes that you'd want to create and what must you believe in order to create these different outcomes, because constraints are often essential for innovation. So there's a perception that I'm being squeezed right now, and that could really forced me to come into alignment, figure out, am I actually doing work that is fulfilling? There's a lot of people that I'm talking to and supporting right now that are like, oh, like, I'm realizing I don't actually want to be doing this job anyway. So what I'm here to do, and starting to align more with that and getting creative, or stepping just into possibility of what can I do to create more income or get more clients or create more content or whatever it is. Again, it's going to be unique and individual to the person, but really always coming back to what is coming up for you, what's being triggered, how can you work through that so that you can shift into possibility.